Halloween Horror Month, day number 5, Final Destination 5. You kind of see a pattern there? Final Destination 5, day number 5, October 5th. No? Nobody? Fuck you. Alright, so, Final Destination 5. The plot of this movie. We all know the plot of the Final Destination movie. Somebody has a premonition of a disaster. They, get all their friends out of the way of the disaster. They survive, and they all start dying one by one. That's the plot of every Final Destination movie. Let's talk about this one, though. Final Destination 5. It's revolving around this character named Sam, who is going on this business retreat with all his co-workers and his friends and his ex-girlfriend. And he has a premonition of a bridge that they're on. They're on a bus that's, driving on a bridge. It's under construction because that's smart to have traffic going on a bridge that's under construction. Very fucking smart there. But anyways, the premonition, the bridge starts to collapse, and everybody's trying to run away, get off of the bridge, and, So that's the premonition of this one. What I think of Final Destination 5 is I enjoy the shit out of this one. I do. I think it's a vast improvement over the Final Destination, which, again, I talked about that one already, but I think it is an improvement. It's definitely one of the ones I have the most fun with. 1, 3, and 5, not in that order, are my 3 favorites. If I had to pick an order, alright, my ranking of the Final Destination movies so far is Final Destination 1, Final Destination 5, Final Destination 3, The Final Destination, and then Final Destination 2. So that's my ranking of the series in my personal opinion. But let's talk about some of the characters. Nick, who's played by... No, not Nick. Nick was in the last one. Sam, who's played by Nicholas DiSaggio. What I think of him is he's an okay actor. He did a lot better in this one than Bobby Campo did in the last one. We have David Koechner in this movie randomly. I know, Champ here, from Anchorman and all the Will Ferrell stuff and stuff like that. He's in this movie. He's also in Piranha Double D, which I reviewed that a few months back. But you can go find my review for that on my channel somewhere. He's in this movie. Other than that, there's really nobody really known in this movie. Tony Todd does make an appearance in this movie. Once again, yes, we haven't seen Tony Todd in the Final Destination series since Final Destination 2, so it was cool to see him back in this one for a second. The kills. Let's talk about some of the deaths in this one. The deaths in this one, like Final Destination 4, most of them aren't really that memorable, but I thought the deaths in this one were done a lot better. Like the special effects and stuff were done a lot better in this one than they were in the last one. Because you could tell the last one was just really made for 3D. This one, they're like, okay, while this one still was in 3D, they're like, okay, we made one in 3D. Specifically, we made it for 3D. Kind of see how that worked out. But let's do another one in 3D, but let's work harder on the actual movie itself. So I respect that. I respect that they did that. And honestly, if this was the last Final Destination movie, and right now it is, I haven't heard any movement on 6 and 7. Like, there was a report that came out like a year or two ago, whatever, saying, yeah, we're going to move forward on Final Destination 6 or 7. I haven't heard nothing since. But if this is indeed the last Final Destination movie, this was a great ending to the series. It was. And in a way, I'll talk about this a little bit towards the end because that is kind of a big spoiler. I like how it does come full circle, though. So, but like I said, most of the deaths aren't really that memorable. But there are a couple that are cool. For example, there's a one involving a gymnast, who does like, flips and shit like that, school. That one's awesome. There's one involving, like, it's kind of like a crane thing. That's pretty cool. In fact, I will say the stuff in the premonition, in the bridge collapse premonition, those are the best deaths in the movie, in my opinion. They are, because if you watch the premonition, and the bridge just collapsing, and everybody starts dying on the bridge, those deaths are fucking awesome. That whole fucking opening right there, it's like, yeah, it's fucking intense. I'm into that shit. Give me more of that the whole movie. Unfortunately, it kind of went down from there when it comes to the deaths. other than that, it's a fun and enjoyable film. And this one does something different. It brings something different to the franchise, which the last one did too. I didn't really talk about it in my The Final Destination review because, I kind of just wanted to get that one over with for the most part. But in the last one, you know how Bobby Campo was having the visions throughout the movie of little clues of how the next person was going to die? This one, they added something new to it as well. Not the visions. They didn't bring that back. With this one, they find out that if they kill somebody, then they are given whatever years that person has had left in their life. So let's say somebody who was not in the disaster, or even in the disaster, really. They didn't really try to do that. But anyway, if you have somebody that wasn't in the disaster and you kill them, you're basically cheating death again, because you are still gonna die, obviously, but you get however many years that the person you just killed had left. That was pretty cool. That was a new spin on it that we haven't seen in these movies before. I did like that a lot. And there's this one character in here, I forget his name, but he was like Sam's best friend or whatever, and his girlfriend was the gymnast and stuff like that. Yeah, kind of spoil. I did kind of spoil who died in that one, didn't I? Whoops. But yeah, that character, the guy who looks like a young Tom Cruise, he was actually pretty good in this movie. Like, he genuinely was probably the best actor in this movie. David Koechner, obviously, is a great actor. There's one death in particular that I really love involving. It's kind of going to, like, what would you call that place? Like a massage parlor kind of thing involving, acupuncture, where they stick the little needles inside you. And Buddha was there. And yeah, Buddha has a cameo in this movie. That was pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, the deaths are pretty cool. There's more cool deaths in here than in the last one. The bridge collapse was way better than the NASCAR, crash or whatever. Because, something I didn't talk about in the last one. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, I thought the whole thing, the disaster is a race car crash? Really? But a bridge collapse. Fucking perfect. Now, I'm going to give you my rating for this movie first, because there is something that is a spoiler that I do need to talk about. All in all, guys, I really enjoy Final Destination 5 a whole hell of a lot. There's definitely a lot of fun to be had with this particular one. I'm going to go ahead and give Final Destination 5 a B+. Highly recommend it. I do. It's fun, especially if you're a fan of the Final Destination movies. And let's say you watched Final Destination 1 through 4, but you didn't see 5 because of how bad 4 was. I promise you, 5 is a step up from 4. It is an improvement over 4. So if you have seen 4, but you haven't seen 5, check out 5. Alright, it's getting a B+. Now I have to talk about something that's spoilerish. Okay? So, at the end of the movie, we find out, Sam's getting on this plane to go to Paris, and you see where this is going, right? So he gets on a plane to Paris. We find out that he's on Flight 180. Yeah, the original plane. And we find out this movie was actually a prequel all along. How clever was that ending? How many of you saw that coming? Which I know there are people out there smarter than me. But here's what happened. This is how I knew. Hang on one second. Let me adjust the. All right. So my buddy, who you've seen in my other videos before, Mike, he's seen this movie in the theater before I went to go see it in the theater. And he said, hey, the end of this movie connects with the first one. I'm like, alright, whatever, what does that mean? And then, there's a couple times in the movie where they mentioned Paris, and I was remembering what I was told about how it connects with the first movie. I'm like, they're gonna go on the fucking plane to Paris, aren't they? But then, I forgot about it for a little while after that for the movie. So when it got to that part in the end, I was still genuinely pretty shocked. It's something I didn't see coming. It was awesome, don't get me wrong, especially when the chick went out of the plane and she got, fucked up by the wing of the plane. That was fucking cool. But yeah, that whole thing of it being a prequel the whole time, That was clever. That was clever. And that's why I said I would be fine if this was the last Final Destination movie, because it did come full circle. You watch 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then by the end of 5, you're back to 1 again. So that was cool. It comes full circle, and I would be happy if this was the end of the Final Destination movies. Like I said, guys, Final Destination 5 is getting a B+. What do you guys think of Final Destination 5? And here's a question. Well, not really a question, but it's fun. It's going to be a fun moment for a second here. So obviously the Final Destination reviews are done. So I'm going to be starting on my next either review, like a solo review, or a series review for Halloween Horror Month. The next review is coming. If you can guess, this is the fun part, if you can guess what the next review is going to be after this, if you can guess Final Destination 5, and I have not recorded my review for the next one yet. At the time that I'm recording this, I haven't reviewed the next one yet. But if you guys can guess what the next review will be, I will give you a shout out in the next video. So if you got like a YouTube channel that you want me to